Hello, this is T West and welcome to AfroSynergy. Hi. A few days ago you probably heard of the situation where in Libya NATO fired upon some of the insurrectionists or the rebels in eastern Libya. They were fired upon, number one, because they had a tank, and also they were moving against the Gaddafi forces. NATO's response later to this was that they did not know that the rebels had tanks. Now, many of you right here in America probably know that the rebels had stolen tanks many weeks ago as they moved against Gaddafi in the eastern part of Libya. So why didn't these NATO people know that the rebels had tanks? So this is a situation perhaps of incompetence within NATO. Now, something else happened recently as well. What you're going to see in this video brought to you by CBS are the devils of the Western nations under NATO allowing the traitorous anarchists in Libya to fly MiG jets against the Libyan army and to bomb them and kill them with these MiG jets. However, they will not allow Gaddafi to use any type of aircraft. 2 days ago, it was reported that NATO was allowing the traitorous Libyans in Benghazi to use attack helicopters against the Libyan military. To President Obama, I want you to look upon this and observe as those you enabled to slaughter the Libyan people and to destroy their infrastructure and economy. Observe as they do this. Gaddafi is not and was never an enemy of the good people.
Enforcing the no-fly zone means NATO has to do more than keep Colonel Gaddafi's air force out of the skies. It now has to keep rebel planes from flying too. These two MiG fighter jets are all the air power available to the rebels here in Benghazi. They say they're not enough to win the fight against Gaddafi's forces, but they can make a difference, and the pilots say they're willing to keep flying them as long as NATO will give them permission to do so. And this pilot, who only wants to be identified as Colonel Khalid, says he had permission yesterday when he took off in this MiG-23 from the Benina Air Base outside Benghazi to bomb loyalist positions near Ashdabia.
We fly normal and we come back.
So you decided when to fly?
Yes.
And you had permission to take off from NATO?
We have the permission for takeoff and landing.
The flight request was sent from the Rebel Military Council to NATO, according to Air Traffic Controller Eliel Shamek. So NATO gave permission for the MiG-23 to take off. And what was the mission of the MiG? What was it supposed to do?
To shoot Gaddafi forces there.
Colonel Khalid says he fired 128 rounds and hit a fuel truck and 2 other vehicles carrying Gaddafi's forces. But NATO disputes his account, telling CBS News it did not give the pilot permission to fly. It says an AWACS plane detected the MiG when it took off and called in 2 fighter planes, which forced the MiG to return to base. NATO is sensitive to criticism that it is only enforcing the no-fly zone against Gaddafi's forces. It claims this is the first interception it had to make. But it is difficult to reconcile this pilot's account with NATO's version of events. Alan Fizzi, CBS News, Benghazi.
However, you have helped these devils paint him as this evil devil himself. Mr. President, you decapitated part of Libya so that the attack dogs of Europe and the traitorous Arabs of Benghazi can slaughter the people of Libya who support their government. Today, heads of states of the African Union were in Libya to work on bringing an end to these foreign killers who are collaborating with weak Libyans to butcher their own people. To you Arabs of Benghazi, you should be ashamed of yourselves. We know this has nothing to do with democracy, but everything to do with a few individuals who will do anything to attain power and great wealth, even if it means killing thousands of your own people. Libyan people of Benghazi. Think for yourself and don't be swayed, don't be controlled by those whose agenda is power and control of Libya's oil and other wealth and its seaports. The United States want a permanent military base on the African continent and preferably near the ocean, near trade routes. Libya, Eastern Libya, is such a place. And Barack Obama, we are ashamed of you. Even though you have promised that there will be no boots on the ground, you have enabled these wolves to do what they're doing in Libya, in Africa. And to the African Union leaders, you need to put an end to this. This is a part of your geographical area. Africa must not go under any sort or type of colonial rule ever again. And the French and the British are pushing for this. And they're using the wealth and the military means of the United States of America in order to accomplish this. The American people, you should be protesting this until Barack Obama ends it totally. This is T. West with AfroSynergy.